Donald Trump, canceled. The police, absolutely fucking canceled. What about Kanye West, or Hannah Brown, or Jeffree Star? Should anyone be canceled? Stay tuned for Paige and I's thoughts on cancel culture in 2020.
Hello, Euphorians!
What it is?
That was enthusiastic because I'm excited that we're back and it's not as, depressing and awful as our last episode. Not awful, that's so bad. You know what I mean? The tone was much different.
It's a little lighter this week. We're just gonna shoot the shit about cancel culture a bit.
We are, and I'm about to crack open a brewski. Ooh, did you hear that? It's actually not a brewski, it's a Truly. Am I allowed to say that on here, since we're not sponsored?
Yeah, you can say that. We don't have to be sponsored by Truly to say their name.
I'm drinking a passion fruit Truly. I feel like, who on Euphoria would drink this?
Someone
our
girl BB would definitely be drinking Trulies.
BB would absolutely be drinking
I feel like
I feel like she'd be more White Claw.
I feel like the whole girl squad would drink Trulies.
I think Cassie and Maddie would drink Trulies. I feel like BB would drink a White Claw. I feel like White Claw's a little more...
White Claw's a little trashier, but they're kind of all one and the same.
Totally.
They're all kind of trashy.
Well, whatever. I'll take it. I'll be BB tonight, and I'll be sipping on this Truly.
Yeah.
Well...
You're right, though. White Claw is a little trashier.
It is. Truly is
and their flavors are less good.
Truly's a little more esteemed.
Mm-hmm.
Well... last week was great. We had a lot of great topics to cover, but today we're kind of going down a different route, but it's all still relative to a lot of the conversation that's going on. We decided we wanted to talk about cancel culture because it's just super prevalent right now in the media, on social media, you name it, it's out there. Everyone's talking about it because of recent events that have taken place. Mm-hmm. It's like, who do we cancel? Who do we support? It's like, oh my God, they said this 25 years ago. Should we not buy their product anymore? To a certain extent, I understand why people get overwhelmed and kind of don't care anymore, meaning they don't care enough to put the effort in to cancel someone because there's a lot of shit out there that probably should be canceled that isn't.
Yeah, I mean, cancel culture is very youth adjacent, very social media, Twitter.
Was there cancel culture back in our parents' day?
Very entertainment industry adjacent. So it feels quasi-relevant to everything we're talking about. I mean, if you want to get into the history of it,
I think we should in a minute. Should we do updates first, or should we go deep diving into cancel culture?
No, let's do the updates first.
Okay, we'll
Hit us with the Euphoria updates.
We're just really excited, if you can't tell, to be back to podcasting.
Just asking me questions. So, yeah.
I know, I run my mouth really fast, but I do feel like we need some euphoric updates. Zendaya, our queen, she's been posting her Bulgari? Did I say that right? Bulgari. Mm-hmm. I have a necklace from them, but I can't even name it. I know, I do know it, but every time I see it, I get self-conscious because I've heard sometimes it's spelled differently too, by the way.
Well, they use the stylized Latin U, which looks like a V in
it's confusing,
most of their branding. But
it's confusing, and you feel like an idiot if you say it wrong, right? Because you want to flash it off.
You can't say
Bulgari.
It's Bulgari.
Well, she's been posting she actually didn't post, but they posted their campaign with her, so that's been circulating through all the fan accounts. All I want to say is one of the quotes on her post on the Bulgari post said, Zendaya, the icons are never... Oh, wait. Fuck. I can't even read my own handwriting. True icons are never too much.
There you go.
I feel like that is
True icons are never too much?
That's so Queensy. Yeah. True icons are never too much. That's the slogan for her.
Statement.
Yeah. I thought it said the icons are never too much. And I was like, the icons. Wow, Zendaya.
That's a weird slogan.
Well, she's a true icon, and she's never too much. She's definitely not even a little bit too much. She's
It's a weird slogan to pair with her because she's so low-key.
That's what I was just going to say, though. She's not even a little bit. She's
Yeah, that's the slogan you should use if you have like the most over the top. That's like Paris Hilton's like endorsement
Exactly.
slogan. Like,
So yeah, it doesn't really
Zendaya's so
match.
chill. She doesn't need a slogan like that.
No, but she's super adorable in the ad. She's rocking that jewelry. She's iced. She looks great. She's great. Hunter, some news. Hers is all pretty serious. She hasn't been posting anything weird, nothing out of the ordinary. She's still very much out there supporting the Black trans community, which is great. I reposted on our Instagram story as well as added to our doc 5 of the organizations that she listed in one of her posts. So if anyone's interested in donating or signing petitions, check out our link in bio.
Hell yeah.
Also, I'm really impressed by how many Euphorians shared our anti-racist resources.
Nice.
No,
Love
really.
it.
It was like being circulated by a lot of fan accounts that have huge followings. So thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Because at the end
That's
of the day,
what I love to hear.
we joke around and we shoot the shit on this podcast, but that was actually a labor of love, and it's something that's really important. So thank you for sharing.
I mean, look, if even like 5 people like saw that and acted, that'd be like a huge win. Like I'd be
Totally.
stoked on that. So like, I mean, as you go down the funnel, less than like it's like shared with like X amount of people. How many people open it? How many people actually do anything? But even if like 5 people did anything, that would be fucking sweet.
Is there a way to
So,
check that? I should look into that. I've just been looking at people sharing it, and there's been a lot of people on our Instagram sharing it. So thank you so much to anyone that did. We appreciate it so much.
Hell yeah, love that.
Jacob Elordi. So Kissing Booth 2 comes out very soon. I am so stoked. Alex
Which
is
he
over
in.
here.
He's in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's in it, but it's
I
funny.
thought we were talking about whether he might not be in it or something in some former episode.
A lot of people didn't really like. I mean, I was not. I'm not a Jacob Elordi super fan. Meaning, I love him, but I didn't follow him before Euphoria, so I'm not quite sure. They were filming it before Euphoria, so they did film 2 a while back. So so what you're saying about me thinking he wasn't gonna do it, that was just based on me thinking there's no way he'll do it because he broke up with Joey King, who also plays the love interest on that show. Mm-hmm. They did it in real life. It was a bunch of drama.
Oh man.
Anyways, so he actually
Well, upgrade for him.
that's coming out soon. Go support Jacob Elordi. I will absolutely be watching Kissing Booth 2. Alex is eye rolling so hard.
Yeah. So he is in it.
Yeah, he's in it, and I guess he's like in Africa during it. Like, or I don't even actually. I might just be butchering this altogether because I'm a little tipsy from my Truly. But I think like he's never actually like with the cast that much, so that just goes to show there
Okay.
must have been some kind of like agreement going into
Yeah.
it. Like, I'll do this project if I don't have to be with like my ex-girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Cause can't actors do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can try at least. You can negotiate for stuff like that.
Well, I feel like for Kissing Booth 2, he probably did go in trying to negotiate that because he was like the reason it blew up. Meaning, in my opinion, he made the movie. So I
Yeah.
feel like they're not willing to lose him. So I'm sure they were willing to accommodate any of his
A lot
like.
of the times in situations like that, too, people are just like, I'm not really that interested in this project, so make my role, like, minor. Let me, like, film my
Totally.
scenes, like, off-site and, like, kind of
Totally.
phone this in. Like, I'm
He
not really
seems-
into it.
He seems way
That's
too
pretty
chill
common.
and professional to have been like, oh, it's my ex-girlfriend, I can't do it. So I think what you just said is more accurate. He probably
Yeah.
just said, I don't really want to do this, but like,
Yeah,
throw me a bone.
yeah.
So he did an interview with GQ Australia. That pretty much was just going over Kissing Booth 2 and Euphoria and his roles in both, and how like he's kind of frustrated that the story being putting out there is that like he went from Kissing Booth to a much more serious role, when really like as an actor, most of the time you go into acting wanting to be in a serious role. You're not like, oh god, I hope I land like Kissing Booth on Netflix. And some are, I don't know, but Jacob wasn't. So his interview was really great. I loved it. It was very honest. I like that he didn't hold back. He pretty much said like Euphoria was what he had been waiting for. He essentially kind of threw Kissing Booth under the bus, but not really. Like in a nice way. He like kind of was like, yeah, that was like them, but this is now. Let's not talk about that anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like he's kind of pulling the old Robert Pattinson,
Yes.
which yeah, I mean he kind
How
of.
can you blame him?
No, I don't blame him at all, and I love him as an actor post Twilight. Like he didn't really enjoy doing that at all, and as soon as it was over, he was like, "Let me get into like the weirdest shit possible." And, like, since then, he's proven himself to be a really talented actor. And he's also done, like, incredibly weird projects.
Totally.
And I love
And
him for it.
successful ones.
It's
like
also,
The Lighthouse.
that's also a Daniel Radcliffe move. He did the same thing.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, Harry Potter's over, and now I'm going to get naked on stage in a
Broadway.
play about a boy, like, banging a horse. Like, cool. But I think it works for both of them. They've both done some interesting, weird projects and shown they actually can act.
It
and
does.
Not just be like teen icons.
And from my research, I do feel like Jacob Elordi's a good guy. So I take back a lot what I said last week. I feel like I was just kind of angry, but like now I'm kind of for him. Like I read the interview and I'm here for him.
Well, here's hoping we get to see him doing some really, really weird shit in the next few years.
That, and also I really just can't wait for Kissing Booth 2. And I will be recapping. Alex won't be joining, but like I'll be recapping that for sure.
I'm not watching that.
Back to our girl Barb. She's been posting a lot about our previous home city, Portland, which right now is super fucked up. I don't want to go too deep into it because that's not the point of the episode today, but, you know, do your research, look into what's going on in Portland, Oregon. It's really fucking awful. They've sent the feds there to basically bash and baton peaceful protesters. So she's been posting a lot about that and saying how it's super fucked up.
Yeah, not just to beat people, but, like, disappearing people off the street, like, Gestapo style. Like, unmarked vans, ununiformed officers. Well, you can't even say they're officers. They don't have identification or uniforms, and they're just, like, nabbing people off the street, which, if that's not terrifying to you, at surface level it should be, and I'm not going to go into it more than that. But
no, but I will say this. I will say this, though. In our link in bio, in our anti-racist resource list, there is a petition that you can sign to get those feds the fuck out of there. So please, if you have time, go sign that petition because Portland is such a beautiful city, and I don't want to see them get fucked by
Deserves
Trump.
better.
So other than that, Storm posted a really cute Insta post of her and her mom dancing about some good news, but they don't reveal what the good news is, so I'm dying to know.
Mysterious.
Yeah, the only thing they put was hashtag a seed and wings production. So I'm wondering if she's starting her own production company. She could, like she's young and smart and has a lot of money. I don't know. Or maybe she's doing a new movie. I don't know. But I looked up the production company, if that's what it is, and there was nothing to be found. So it must be under wraps.
All right. Maybe it's like a weird like bio like engineering project where they're going to like try to give seeds wings.
That is absolutely not what Storm is doing.
Yes,
Anything, it's like a teen like TV production company, I bet.
Ugh,
or film.
Whatever.
I feel like she probably is going to like, I don't know, star and produce a film of some sort.
All right. Cool.
Then we've got Angus.
That's cool too.
Angus also posted about a young teen movie studio, and it's all based on skaters, Alex. I feel like you'd be really into it. They're called Illegal Civ. He posted a really cute picture of him wearing a shirt that said Illegal Civ. Apparently, I did as much research as I could. I couldn't find a lot other than skating videos on YouTube, but apparently it is in their About Me on YouTube. It says First Teen Movie Studio. So
Sweet.
I think he's just out there repping for
I'm
young
here for
teens.
that. Skaters in the past like 30 years have proved to be like an incredibly artistic group of people, and there have been some amazing artists that have come out of kind of like the skate video culture, people like Spike Jonze and stuff.
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, I mean Spike Jonze came up doing like skate videos and like Jackass and stuff, and then ended up being like a really, really good like talented filmmaker.
That's cool.
And I mean, there's a bunch of other people like that. We already referenced my boy Jerry Shu previously, who has his little brand. Not little, it's a cool brand, Sci-Fi Fantasy. But yeah, I mean, skaters end up doing a lot of really cool shit.
But yeah, that's all for Angus. He's just kind of, still out there doing his thing. Definitely doing the Lord's work out there.
Sweet.
Protesting, still doing all the same shit.
Sweet.
The only other recaps were really just Sydney Sweeney. She posted a funny photo montage of her golfing. So she's really like living her best life. She said might delete later.
She's in Salem. She's probably golfing at some courses I've played at.
Really?
Yeah. Salem's like, I mean, the best golf courses near Salem are if you go way south or if you go up to Portland. So if she went up to Portland.
Well, dang, don't go to Portland, Sydney Sweeney, stay safe. But yeah, she was golfing and it was like, might delete later if I like suck at golf or something like that. I don't know.
Shout out.
So Sydney Sweeney living her best life. I mean it. She's like on that full vacation. She deserves it though. That resume, man. She had a busy couple of years. So
Hell
good for
yeah.
her. Other than that, Algie, nothing new. Just favorite, peace, and blessings every day. He's always like posting these posts that are like, hustle, like do your thing, like hustle it out today. Favorite, peace, and blessings on you all. He says that like every day. So, you know,
All right.
I'm here with Algie. Favor, peace, and
Fever,
blessings.
Peace and
Oh,
blessings.
favor, not fever. Favor, peace, and
It's
blessings
fever
on
until,
all our
It's
euphorians.
fever till Corona's over.
I love Algie. I just stand Algie so much harder than I used to. He's my boy.
Hell yeah.
That's it though. That's not the most exciting, but you know, Euphoria cast, they're always up to something.
There's the wrap up. Sweet.
So now I feel like we should dive into our topic of the episode, which is cancel culture. Cancel culture.
What does cancel culture mean to you, Paige?
Cancel culture to me means so like, you mean from my perspective?
I mean, like, what is it? Yeah, what is cancel? Well, like, I mean, to have a
Cancel
discussion,
culture?
we need to have, like, some agreed upon definition. And, I mean, all definitions of it are pretty vague. So what's it mean to you?
Cancel culture to me means you are canceling an individual for the purpose of discontinuing their ability to have an income based on your following. So,
Okay.
is that a weird definition?
It's always in reference to your own following? Like, what does your following have to do with cancel culture?
Well, if I'm canceling someone, I'm purposefully removing them. I'm not following them because I don't want to contribute to anything that might give them an income or a platform.
Okay. So not super about your own following, just more about
No.
yeah, cool. Yeah, that's pretty much what I
What you would
agree
say
and
too?
what the internet says. It usually this is like a boycott on someone. And I think it's interesting that most definitions of it and most discussions of it talk about a boycott of a person, and they usually say like as you would boycott a business. And what I think is lacking about that definition is that these people are also businesses.
They are businesses.
People that are up for canceling anyone that has a high enough profile to be canceled is a business. Their personality,
Exactly.
their life, their brand, their social media, everything is monetized. So it's not like you're canceling a person like you would cancel or boycott a business. You are boycotting a business.
You are. And that's how...
But yeah, I think that's
is that the
general.
definition that you found, like the
Yeah,
clearest one?
I just think a lot of the definitions miss that aspect, that it's not necessarily just about the person's clout or influence. They are literally a business, and by removing access to them or support for them, you're not only just like decreasing their visibility, you are essentially boycotting a business.
Yeah. Which I stand by 100%. And that, to me, has always been the definition. So I guess I'll say why. I'm the one that, like, thought of this topic, and Alex was kind of like, ooh, interesting, like, why? I was thinking with everything going on, you know, especially pertaining to the Black Lives Movement, it's obviously been a more prevalent conversation because, you know, some of us, as we mentioned last episode, are just waking up and realizing that there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in our country. Others have known about this a long time, but haven't really done much to make changes, meaning like they're still following people that promote hate and do stupid shit, because that's just like the generation we're in. It's like, oh, well, like they said sorry, it's okay, like give them another chance. So I think right now the reason it's a topic of conversation is very obvious. It's like we're all trying to be a little more woke. It's like, whoa, we need to like take a step back, see who's out there, and kind of decide like who should be having a platform right now.
Yeah, hopefully this is a time when everyone's reevaluating who they support and why. Because your support gives them money and influence. And there is no way to like mince that term. So let's be super fucking clear about it. Your follow on Instagram
It's currency.
Your follow on Twitter, whatever, like, I mean, there's way more explicit ways, like buying their fucking makeup or whatever, but that follow alone gives them money. Your YouTube view gives them money.
Yeah,
So
and it's not just
to be
buying their
super
product.
fucking clear, this is all
Yes.
monetary and it's all about what you are doing. So if you
Watching their
follow
TikToks too,
someone,
that's a new one.
just
Watching their
flat out,
TikToks.
they're making money off your follow. So
And you might think, I think also, I stumble upon the idea of like, but if I unfollow, like, is that really going to make a difference? It's kind of like what you said last episode. Like,
Yep.
if I sign this petition, does it really matter? And you realize through everything that's going on in the world and in the country right now that yes, this shit does matter. So yeah, you're one person and you might unfollow and you think it does nothing, but no, it does something, because if you're not doing it, then it's safe to assume no one else is doing it.
well, more problematic, I think, or not more problematically, I think more importantly, it should be less about whether it does anything and more about having your own moral compass
Yes.
and staying true to it. Like, you knowingly are contributing to their platform, you're putting money in their pocket, even if it's not your
100%.
money, you're putting money in their pocket. So are you morally okay with doing that for this given person? And I think that is a far more important question to ask yourself than whether it does anything, because sadly, a whole reason cancel culture has arisen is that people in power are never held accountable, especially in this country. There is zero accountability for people with power or fame, and that's why cancel culture in part has arisen. And there may be some aspect of this that we will never be able to get rid of, no matter how successful cancel culture may become hypothetically.
Absolutely.
We may never be able to hold the people in power accountable, and that's a
No.
reality that's shitty to grapple with. But the inverse of that is that you have to then look at yourself and decide if you are living your life in a way that you're morally okay with and that you can move forward
And that you're
with.
proud of. Yeah.
So maybe you will never be able to impact this famous person's influence or power or whatever, but you can still influence your own way of like moving through the world and your life and what
Yes.
you're doing and what you're comfortable
And
with.
that eventually permeates, right? Like that eventually does. Like if you have friends or family members that look up to you, or
Hopefully.
yeah, you would hope.
Yeah.
So I went about and asked on our Insta stories a couple of questions that I felt were very important to open this discussion. So the first question I
hear 'em.
asked was, do you believe in cancel culture on some sort of level? Mm-hmm. Alex, what were the stats on this?
85% of our fans that responded said, yes, we believe in cancel culture. Obviously, 15% then said no.
So that's pretty shocking to me. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to lay it all out and then we'll like kind of go over our own
Yeah,
thoughts
lay
on
it
all of
out.
this. But I was pretty shocked by the results. I, for some reason, thought most of these would be more forgiving, but a lot of people were like here for cancel culture. So interesting. The next question was, do you think it's okay to cancel someone who is actively promoting hate on the internet?
Yeah, 88% of people said cancel him,
Which is great, good.
12% of people said give
Everyone
them a
gets a
second
chance.
chance.
Yeah, that's... But
We'll
you know
get
what? 88's a good
Hey,
number.
we'll discuss all this in a sec.
And then I asked, this was more of an open question, so it wasn't a poll. You could write in if you wanted. I said, if you're okay with canceling someone, why are you okay with it? I'm not going to read all the answers, but I'll read a couple to you, Alex, and you can kind of like tell me your thoughts or laugh or whatever. And I'm keeping them anonymous because I told all of our followers I would.
Of course.
So we got one response. Honestly, I'm 50-50 on it because cancel culture is very toxic. We can go over that a little later, but what are your first thoughts on that?
My first thoughts are that this is something we've encountered when talking to some people in our lives about events that are going on now, which is that people have a concern that's a real concern, but they get caught up on this real concern. But if you were to list how many things you're concerned about in order of priority, it's insanely low on the list.
Got it.
So to me, it's like, am I concerned that cancel culture could become toxic or could go too far? Yes, that's a real concern in a society that prizes free speech. As someone that like appreciates comedy, I can see that concern exists.
Yeah.
But how concerned am I about that in reality?
Not
like
that
very,
concerned.
very little concern. There is real, actual fucked up shit happening on the regular. There have been very few examples of cancel culture being so awful or fucked up or toxic that it's like completely fucked up the life of someone totally innocent. So
Yeah.
I'm not very concerned about that right now. So it's
Totally.
like, yeah.
My-
Intellectually, it's an interesting thing to talk about, but it's
Yeah.
not really worth that much time right now to me.
Yeah,
personally.
my only 2 cents would be like, I think a lot of people love to focus on cancel culture being toxic when really I think we should be talking about it's toxic that certain people are not canceled. That
Yep.
would be that's all I have to say on
Yeah.
that. Is
And
I think there should
yes.
be more conversation. It frustrates me that people with huge platforms are at least most of the people I follow with very big platforms are very quick to be like, cancel culture is toxic, like do not promote it, it's not okay, like, and you know why they do that? I'll tell you right now, because I work in the industry, A, and B, I know friends that are influencers, and it's because you make money
Yeah.
as an influencer, so you'd be stupid not to promote. Please, no, don't cancel people, because you're secretly inside like, if I ever fuck up, I don't want to be canceled.
All those people want their second, their third, their
second-
fourth,
yes.
their fifth chance. And so, yeah, of course they're going to say, I don't support it. Like, it's toxic, whatever.
Totally. So I'll read like 2 more.
Okay.
This person wrote in, I think we should be bringing up people, whether or not they've done bad or good things in their past, and address it and show that they've grown. I think this is important. I don't think it's okay to hate someone if they have grown, especially if there is evidence of them growing. It kind of goes on, but in essence, it's a longer response, but they concluded with saying, I think often celebrities apologize just to get it off their back, but they might not truly mean it or be genuine. So, yeah.
That is accurate, but is the understatement of the century. I can't think of a single genuine apology I've seen from anyone in like fucking years.
No,
it couldn't be more
clout. It's
obvious
clickbait.
that every single one of these apologies is so fucking hackneyed and bullshit and fake and not heartfelt. It's all strategic, and it's not even a quality job of being strategic. Like,
I know, it's usually like really bad.
Like, really, if you had a true like crisis management like expert or somebody on here that like really knew what the fuck they were doing, these apologies would be a lot better. But almost every single time, they're just bullshit.
So back in our day, Alex and I, Alex is 30.
Shut up.
I'm approaching 30. So we're a little older. But back in the day, I mean, you used to have a publicist that pretty much like coached you through everything. And yes, like actors have this still, musicians, whatever, but it's definitely not as like prevalent today, especially for influencers. Like they have managers, but they don't have publicists most of the time.
Or if they have them, they're trash.
Yeah.
Because I see like just trash PR from influencers.
But I don't think they do,
part.
is what I'm saying. I really don't think most do unless they're celebrity level.
Well, they fucking should, because it would save them millions of dollars.
I know, they're
it's
horrible.
Not that complicated.
Like, I'll list a very quick example without going down a rabbit hole. When the whole James Charles thing came about, cancel culture kind of got brought up again in like a very strong, like overnight viral, like drama. There was all this shit going down, so people brought it up as a topic. And his apology video was appallingly bad. It was like the worst apology I have ever seen in my life. And granted, like maybe he didn't need to apologize, which is funny because now all this shit's coming out that everything that was said about him was wrong, but he apologized for it.
He probably still needed to apologize.
I know,
I'm sure
but
he's done plenty of sus stuff.
100%. But I'm saying his apology video was like a laughing stock.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Everyone's apology videos.
So the last one I'll say is, one of our followers said, because fame is like a knife. And that made me laugh because I didn't really understand that response. Because it's like, if you are okay with canceling someone, why are you okay with it? And the answer was, because fame is like a knife. What would you have to say to that? I'm not like trying to laugh at it. Like, I'm glad they responded. But
I mean, I don't know if this is what they intended, but my interpretation is that fame is dangerous, and if you pick up the proverbial knife and play with fame, you know that you're in for some shit and the consequences might be high. So potentially you could be canceled, and you have to be okay with that as an influencer going into the game.
Totally.
So if that was what they meant by it, I really like it, and if not,
yeah, I thought it was funny.
It's kind of cryptic and cool. But
so the other question, I'm not going to read too many
like
responses because they were all the same. It was just, if you're not okay with canceling someone, why are you against it? Literally every single response we got was essentially just saying, I believe in second chances. So then the very last question I asked was, do you feel pressure to allow people second chances? Alex, what were our results?
The results to that question were 55% of people said that they did feel pressured to give people second chances.
To me, that's super interesting.
Which is, that's a lot of people. More than half said they felt some degree of pressure to give someone a second chance.
It's so
What do you
silly.
make of this, Paige? What do you think about second chances?
I don't know. So I'm more, Alex and I are very cutthroat people. We have very strong opinions, right? But I would say I am a little, a little more forgiving than Alex. Like, you're more full-blown, like, nope, you're out. I'm kind of like, it depends. For me, it's not that I don't believe in second chances. It's just that it's like what you just said earlier. To me, that's not relevant. I don't really give a flying fuck if this person gets a second chance because I'm feeding them money by following them. They're getting ahead of me in life. They are living a very luxurious, beautiful life. Most influencers make a pretty penny, let me tell you, because once again, I work in this industry. I know they make a lot of money. So for me, I don't really care about second chances because I don't know them personally. So, like, if you're asking me, would I give Alex Miller a second chance if he fucked up? Yes, because I know you, I love you, I know a lot about you. Like, I could go on and on and on. An influencer, I don't know shit about you, so I don't care. If you do something that's fucked up in my eyes,
but the fans
I'm not
think
there.
but the fans think they know them. The whole
That is
influencer relationship is designed to give you the feeling that you know that person
Sure.
intimately when you don't at all.
Sure, but I would say, yeah, you absolutely do not know these people. You
Yep.
could think you know me and Alex
Yeah,
from
quick
listening to this
reminder,
podcast, but
you don't know
us.
shit about any influencer you follow.
No.
It is all a fucking
we're a little
illusion.
more raw and authentic than most people, but even then,
It
people
is
don't really know us.
all an illusion. Everything is an illusion.
I think
So,
absolutely, yes. And I think if you don't think that, then you're really, you need to wake up.
Yep.
So for me, it's not that I don't believe in a second chance for a human being. It's that I don't really believe in second chances for influencers because by giving them that platform and that quote-unquote chance, it's like you're just still funding their glamorous beautiful life, and it's like, but why and on what? Unless they're just this amazing person doing a lot of good in the world, I don't really care to give someone a second chance, but that's just me.
Here are my thoughts on it. I think there's two things. Number one, I think everyone, sorry, go ahead.
Before you go, all I will say is Alex and I have a little bit different, I feel like our answers are coming from different places because I'm thinking mostly YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I feel like you're thinking music, celebrity.
No, same thing. I think
Really?
it's universal.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
The law, to me, these laws are universal.
Okay, cool. I was just double checking.
So my thoughts on it are this. First of all, everyone approaches the discussion of canceling as if it is someone's life. It's not. This isn't whether I would give someone a chance at life. I'm not condemning this person to death. It's approached in very
but
extreme
cancel culture's
terms.
tied with that. Do you know what I mean?
It's not tied with that. It's their fucking job. It's their job. We're talking about should someone essentially lose their job over saying the N-word, over doing something really shady, over
True.
making jokes about pedophilia. Should someone lose their job over something like that?
Yes.
To me, hands down, I've never experienced a work culture, and I don't really want to experience a work culture where something like that happens and you don't get fired. You should fucking get fired for that. And that's pretty
Absolutely.
self-explanatory to me. So I feel like everyone gets very impassioned about this and acts like you're trying to murder this person or they should be sent to hell for this. And it's no, they just should lose their fucking job.
Well, so I'm going to cut you off just for a second. The reason that that's all tied into this is because I 100% agree with you. Yes. But it's been twisted and turned. And the reason influencers are so sensitive to it, at least the reasons they say they are because the trolls online are so evil and bad that they're literally wishing suicide. So if you have a platform of, let's say, over 15 million people following you and a couple million of those people are telling you to go hang yourself for a mistake you made, That is why most people say cancel culture is toxic, because it literally leads these young kids who have this platform, this career, to like being suicidal, which is fucked up. Like, we're not for that, obviously. You and I are not, but
fame is like a knife, and if you get famous, and if you choose fame and choose this career path, you have to know that this is something that comes with the territory.
Absolutely.
Just like,
it doesn't mean you
literally on its
though?
surface level, if you are choosing a career as an influencer, you have to be comfortable accepting that you will get death threats. Like, if I were to sit down with an aspiring influencer as like a manager or career coach, I'd say, are you okay with the possibility that you will receive death threats? And this is like the reality, and but people don't talk about this. People like just gloss over this shit, and it's like, this is a career, and any career you enter into, you have to decide whether you're suited for. You don't have to be tough skinned, but you have to decide, am I a good match for the realities of this career? And if you're not, then you should not pursue that career.
I
agree. The career of being an influencer and a public persona comes with some great upsides and some really fucked up downsides. So fame is like a knife. Like, you're going to get death threats if you're an influencer, or you have to at least be comfortable accepting the possibility that you might. So yes, this happens and it's fucked up, and I'm not supporting that, but this isn't related to cancel culture. If you're an influencer and you never do anything fucked up, you're going to probably get death threats.
Totally. Like Sophia Bush, she's a huge activist that I follow. She was on One Tree Hill. She's got a very large following. She gets death threats every day, and she hasn't ever been canceled or has been brought up as someone who makes mistakes. But like you just said, that made me think of that. It's like, but she receives death threats literally daily. So, I agree with you. But all I will say, though, is that... What are your thoughts, though, on when celebrities, people of platforms, bring up the point where they're like, but this should not be an issue. We shouldn't have to be signing on the dotted line saying, yes, we are okay with people threatening our lives.
That doesn't matter. That's just you ignoring reality.
You just think that's something we should accept and not try to change?
I don't think that you can't try to change it, but I think to say otherwise is to ignore reality. People are people, and human beings have been savage as fuck for all of eternity. So if you are going to be in the public eye, you are going to face savage as fuck people.
Yeah.
And it's great if you want to advocate to change that, and maybe someday it'll change. But the reality right now is that that's the deal. So you're either cool with it or you're not cool with it, and it's never gonna change.
No, sadly, that is something that I think people like don't understand. Is it's just it really isn't something that you can like measure or change.
Mm-hmm.
There's no like measurable action. Like, you can't like have a petition and say, hey, let's sign to like never send a death threat to a celebrity. Like, that's just not something you can like change.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's tough.
We can't even fucking get like white supremacy out.
So you're not gonna stop receiving fucking arrested.
You're not gonna stop when like we as a country know that there are people that have committed murders, and we know their faces and their names, and we're doing nothing about it. So you getting an anonymous, vague death threat on Twitter is not ever going to be something that really goes away.
Totally. But on that note, you read me some interesting news about Justin Bieber today that I think you should share.
Okay.
It's not relevant to Euphoria, but it's relevant to the topic of cancel culture.
Yeah, a court is allowing Justin Bieber to subpoena Twitter for the identity of two women that falsely accused him of sexual assault, which I think is great because the anonymity of the internet leads to a lot of fucked up shit. Personally, I approach all of life like, if you're going to put something down on paper or on the internet, you're
held
signing
responsible.
your fucking name to that shit and saying, this is what I believe and I stand by it. So I don't mind this. But anyways, getting back to cancel culture, my first thought on it is this extremity where it's like you're acting like you're ending someone's life. My second thought on it is that second chances are earned, not given. I have no interest in giving someone a second chance. But if this person disappears from the public eye and then spends years doing great work and philanthropy or learning or starts some project or just works their way back in the good graces of the public, then I can accept the idea of them having earned a second chance. They have shown that they learned from their experience. Like, I am not anti-second chance, but second chances are earned, not given. You have to go
Alex, that's like a famous quote. Alex Miller, second chances are earned,
You have to go do the
given.
fucking work. Like, I'm not going to just hand you a second chance just because you got on YouTube and said, I'm sorry. You haven't done anything yet. You haven't shown that you've changed. You've said you're going to change. You've promised you're going to change, but I don't give a fuck. Like,
true.
Go disappear, become better, and then you can come try again. And if you've done a good enough job, then you can earn a second chance. And if you do a shit job, then you can go fuck off again.
That's actually like, Alex, that's like a famous quote. Like, I feel like that should be on your gravestone.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not wishing death upon you, but like, if you did die, it might be like, well, Alex's last, like, really profound words were a second chance is earned, not given.
So those are my thoughts
Alex
on this
Miller.
big second chance thing. I like the idea of a second chance too, but it has to be the story. It has to be a redemption story. You have to go actually like work hard and earn it.
So what's our next point that we kind of want to like dive into on this topic?
So I thought it was interesting to talk about. There's all this discussion of cancel culture and stuff, but is cancel culture even effective? Does it ever result in actual change?
Which is interesting because I just watched the story of someone from my high school that's a big influencer today. I won't, put her on the spot, but she posted something about cancel culture and how it's just so awful for influencers because some of these influencers work so hard to like build their business from the ground up, and if they make one mistake, you're like taking away their business. Obviously, Alex and I stance on that, which is great, good. You should lose your business.
Yeah, your job is to have attention to detail.
That makes me realize what a waste of energy and time to even discuss that on a platform where you have hundreds of thousands of followers. How about you talk about things taking place in real life that you can actually create change for? So you saying that out loud made me realize, why waste your time and energy talking about not promoting cancel culture when no one is ever fucking canceled? There's no proof of anyone really ever fucking being canceled.
I mean, that idea alone is disgusting. Like, it's your job, and if your job is to have attention to detail, to put out public statements and pieces of work publicly on behalf of a brand, yourself, or say you run a Twitter account for a company, your job is to be attentive to detail and not make some monumental fuck up on behalf of the brand, even if the brand is yourself. And if you do, you should expect to get fired, or pay some consequence, for your mistake.
Well, a good
I
example,
think that's completely fair. That's
one
the
I'll bring
fucking
up that's
deal.
pretty
That's
relevant.
work.
Yeah, one that
that's
I'll bring
having
up,
a job.
One that I'll bring up that's pretty relevant is Hannah Brown on. Is that her name? I honestly don't even know because I don't care. She was on The Bachelor, but it was a big, huge scandal because right before the Black Lives Movement kind of started, she said the N-word on her TikTok. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, mainly, I hate to say it, but mainly conservative, idiot, white basic girls. But a lot of them were like, give her a second chance. She didn't mean to. And what you just said earlier, it's earned, it's not given. It's yep. I'm not here to say, I don't think she deserves to be, get death threats. I don't. Deep down, I don't. Because I won't say any more on it, but I don't think she deserves death threats. But I do think she deserves to lose her business.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Like you just said, if she worked at SeatGeek where I work and you used that word
tweeted out
and tweeted that out, you'd be fired.
I'd get fired.
So yeah,
and that's
I
fair.
think she should be fired, meaning I don't think she should get the influencer glamorous life she has. I think that should be a lesson and you move on with life, right? But no, she's thriving and is doing better than ever. So I just wanted to bring that up as an example of something where I'm like, I understand that's, I don't really understand why people want to promote this language of let's not engage in cancel culture. It's why not?
Yeah, why not?
No one ever learns if you don't cancel their business. If you don't fire them from their job, they don't learn.
Right. And like I said earlier, it's hard for people in power to be held accountable. And this is a small way that people have some degree of the possibility of holding someone accountable for their action. And on the topic of holding people accountable, that kind of harkens back to the history of cancel culture, which traditionally comes out of a black civil rights movement boycott, saying essentially we don't have the ability to do anything about businesses that are white supremacist or doing this because we're not supported by the law, but we don't have to spend money there. And as a sizable population, you can hurt them by not spending your money there. So the tradition of cancel culture goes back to that, which is just like all the protests and everything that's going on right now. Disenfranchised people without power use what they do have, which is always numbers and money, to impact,
hurt.
to influence change, or to
hit him where it hurts, the pocketbook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The term itself comes from New Jack. Well, the first usage is in New Jack Swing with or New Jack City with Wesley Snipes. Excuse me, where he tells it's a classic. It's a misogynist joke where he tells a woman that she is canceled and to get him another hoe or something. He tells his manager like get some other like paid woman in here, like she's canceled.
My gosh.
And then Lil Wayne referenced that on a song in like 2010. And then it started being used on Black Twitter in like 2012 or between 12 and 15.
So that's
in
really
there,
where it all
started
stems from, as far as we know?
The history of the term, yeah.
Wow.
So
I did not know that.
The history of cancel culture and the word cancel.
Damn. I mean, it makes sense. But
yeah, back on the topic of like whether it's even effective or not, I think we've seen that it can like damage people in the pocketbook sales wise, like people like Jeffree Star getting like makeup deals canceled.
Yeah, or getting dropped by huge brands.
But in terms of like truly canceling people, I was looking into like who has ever been successfully fully canceled, and almost no one has. I think there were only 4 people I could come up with where
Who were they?
By pretty much all definitions they were fully, totally, in all ways canceled. And they're Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, Kevin Spacey, and Jussie Smollett.
Wow.
Those were the only 4. Even
to
people
be fair,
like R. Kelly still saw a huge rise in their streams from the publicity of their like cancellation or their scandals or whatever. So they still made net more money than they were making prior to being canceled.
Jesus.
So it's hard to consider someone canceled if they're making more money than they were before.
Interesting. Well, the lists you just named though, I'm like laughing to myself because I'm like, yeah, I mean, none of those I have a problem with being canceled fully.
Yeah.
Like, bye.
And there have been
bye,
comedians
boys. They're all
that
boys,
were,
right?
Yeah. Yep. And there were comedians
Tell
that were
them,
like
boy, bye.
considered canceled, but still went on to like sell out shows and have specials or this or that.
Jussie
People like
Smollett for me is honestly one of the worst.
Yeah, pretty
Fuck
bad.
that guy, right? That's the guy that did the hate crime against himself.
Yeah, he
planned it.
basically like faked a hate crime.
That is like the lowest of the low. That story shooketh me to my core.
That was a wild one. Yeah, but those are the only 4 people I could really say that I personally came across
I'm
where I was
surprised
like,
Bill Cosby
they were
was
really
fully canceled. I feel like that's some
canceled.
shit people would give excuses for because the Cosby Show was such a big hit. You know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not saying
helps.
he shouldn't be canceled.
It probably helps that he's not like still really working. If
True.
he was, people might give him a chance.
Is he in jail?
I don't
He's
think
not.
so. No, I don't think so. I'll check.
he should be.
Weinstein's in jail.
Well, yeah. with his
Kevin
little-
Spacey just I don't think has really been able to work since then.
He's a psychopath.
He like even movies that were in production where he had finished his filming, they went
dropped
and
him from
refilmed it
everything.
with another actor.
House of Cards was like, bye.
So yeah, he was pretty fully
What was
officially
Jussie
canceled.
Smollett in? I don't even know.
He was on
him.
that show Empire, and as far as I know, he hasn't been able to do anything.
Well, good.
since.
He should never see a good example of cancel culture. Good. Canceled. Bye.
Yep.
Bye,
So
Jussie Smollett.
yeah, there you go.
Damn. Well, thanks for looking that up. Those are good. Those make sense, in other words. But it's astounding to me that there aren't more on that list.
Yep. So here's another question for you. Who is the number 1 person you want to see canceled?
That is a tough question, Alex. Okay. I'll start off by saying the obvious that neither of us can say is Trump, because we absolutely want him canceled. That's pretty...
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I know, but I'm just putting that out there so that no one understands. Or so that everyone understands where I stand. Mine would have to be Logan and Jake Paul. That's my number 1.
Would agree with that.
I think...
I'm still making plenty of money.
I have no empathy. I have no sympathy. I don't care. They've made multiple egregious, disgusting,
They're trash.
unforgivable mistakes.
Not even mistakes.
Unforgivable.
Intentionally fucked up, malicious
intentionally fucked up, malicious shit. And they haven't even asked for a second chance. It's not like they like went out and said sorry. I mean, when I say that, I mean like they didn't even try. It's like they did like the classic PR round of interviews with like Good Morning America. I mean, they've done it all, but it could not be more scripted. And I'm just over it. I can't believe they still not only have a platform, but like you said, they make money and probably more money than they ever have. And I have nothing else to say other than I think they're disgusting. And if they ever listen to this, I hope they do. And I hope you boys are canceled.
Yep. I definitely agree with that one.
Logan and Jake Paul. You heard it here first.
Yeah, agree with that.
Or you heard it here for the 1,000th fucking time. Why are they not canceled?
Agree with that. Hands down.
Who are yours? Or who's your person?
I don't know. I think it's hard to say. There's so many. I'm very much in the camp of cancel everyone. I just want everyone to be canceled. But I think right now I would have to say Kanye West. Because he continues to be incredibly irresponsible with his platform in disseminating false and damaging information, in supporting Trump and so many other things.
I mean, today, tell our listeners today if they haven't heard yet.
Today he was slandering Harriet Tubman,
like,
saying that she just brought black people to work for like new white masters.
You can't even I mean, these are the kind of discussions where you can't even like talk about that. It's just so.
And it's hard. I think people have said this a long time, and I will acknowledge it. I think Kanye West has needed and still needs like some degree of like treatment or medication or therapy or something. Like, he typically does not come across as like stable in most of these things. But yet he's still treated very much like this is all like normal and sane and like rational stuff. And I guess actually this brings me to someone I want canceled even more than Kanye West. I want Kris Jenner canceled more than Kanye West. I think Kris Jenner is one of the most problematic people in all of American media, and everyone ignores it. Everyone ignores that she pimped out her children, all of her children, from an age when they were too early to consent, to build a media empire off of them at the clear expense of their mental health.
Kourtney Kardashian being an example.
And now she has now drawn in Kanye West and does the same thing to him. I think it could not be clearer that Kanye West needs help, especially to someone that close to him, and yet she is out here basically like supporting his political campaign, saying she wants to be part of it or as vice president or whatever, like essentially like honoring his insane like delusion of grandeur and buying into like his like bizarro fantasy
You heard it
world.
Here first. Alex wants Kris Jenner canceled. I can't say I agree.
Yeah, I think it's disgusting, and I'm very disappointed that everyone just continuously like looks up to her as like this like businesswoman, when it's like, yeah, if you want to classify a businesswoman as so ruthless that she's like pimped her own children, then yeah, she is that. But I don't think that that's the model of like a successful businesswoman we want to look up to. Like, there are women that are compassionate and also successful. And I don't
disagree with you, but if we go down that rabbit hole, we'll be here a while. I don't disagree with you, though. I do think she's very problematic in many ways, but I would not cancel her. I would cancel Kanye, so I agree with you.
Those are mine. And as a
concluding thoughts,
I think as a closing point, this is a rabbit hole we are not going to go down at length, but I think it's one of the most interesting and difficult questions about canceled people is, what do you do about their work? What do you do when this person is a great artist that has produced film or music or comedy or whatever, amazing stuff? Like, what do you do if you can all agree that that person is problematic and should be canceled? What do you do about the body of work they've accumulated?
So like
how do you
like Michael Jackson and R. Kelly,
like talking about their legacy and their work?
Do you still like play MJ at your like school dance? Do you still like listen to R. Kelly on the weekends when you're drinking? Like,
what do you think about that?
I think that's really tough, and like you said, I think that we could talk about that for another 30 minutes, so I won't go too in depth, but I do think a lot of these things are situational, but I guess my personal stance on it is that since the revolution is amped up recently, I might have different thoughts. I used to be more of a person that was a little more passive and a little more like, I can separate the art from the person, but lately my thoughts have been changing a bit. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a perfect person, meaning I'm not going to not play like Thriller around Halloween. Like, that's not where I'm at yet, but one day I might be. So I'm kind of like in the middle. I'm trying to figure it out for myself.
I think I've come up with like some rudimentary ground rules for myself, which is mostly about money and appreciation for work. And the way I think about it is this: any work by anyone can be appreciated on its own, but you cannot and should not look at it in a vacuum. You can acknowledge that there are issues with the creator and talk about that and talk about its relation to the work, but you can still appreciate the work for what it is, for its impact, for its influence in history, or whatever. But the second part of that is the money, which is, do you want to give that person money? And for me, the answer is always no. So if the person's already dead, which is very often the case, I mean, we have there's thousands of years of human history and let's like not mince words, tons of the great art of all humanity has been created by incredibly fucked up people.
Yeah.
But they're dead, so consuming their art has no impact on you're not supporting their career, you're not giving them money.
You're also not giving them a platform if they're dead. They're already dead.
So you can and should have conversations about them and what's problematic about them, but you can and should also appreciate the work for what it is. But when people are alive, I am staunchly no, give them no money. But a lot of the time, that's super simple. Like, if you want to listen to R. Kelly's music, just don't do it from, like, his official YouTube channel or whatever. Like, just find the, like, non-official version. Like, it's usually really easy.
But also read a room.
I mean, everyone, like...
Do you know what I mean, though? If you're in a room full of women at, like, a party, maybe don't put on R. Kelly. It's not the best look.
I mean, that's a whole...
Does that make sense?
That is a way other discussion, but I'm talking right now about, like, where your money and where it goes. If you listen to someone's official stream on Spotify, if you watch their official video on YouTube, on their channel or whatever, they are making money.
Yep.
So don't do that. If you still want to appreciate the work, find a way that doesn't give them money, which is usually incredibly easy.
Totally.
Fucking get on the Pirate Bay. Like, it's like 2008, like whatever. Just
don't, yeah.
There are tons of ways to pirate content. So spend the time to make sure you're not giving them money.
To add my concluding thoughts to all of this, can we please take pride in that there's probably no one from Euphoria, hopefully, that will ever be canceled?
Let us hope.
Euphoria cast is they are not to be canceled.
Let us hope.
Cancel culture does not exist in Euphoric. They are so euphoric. They rise above.
I have no hope for anything in the world, but I will say that it seems very unlikely that anyone on the Euphoria cast will do anything mega problematic anytime soon.
Agreed. And also...
That's the most I'll say, but I
feel like season 2 will be... I really have very high hopes for season 2. I'm just amped.
They better knock that shit out the park.
I think, they've got the time. Goddamn, it's delayed enough.
I know.
Well, that was a good discussion. I really liked what we talked about. I think that was all good shit. I hope you all were able to, gain a little more insight. Thank you for participating, by the way, and all the questions we asked. It was really interesting to hear that pretty much 50-50 people felt pressure in cancel culture, which...
Yeah,
I think
don't feel pressured.
Yeah, don't feel pressured. Like, this is why we have these discussions, right? It's so that you can learn and do your own research and have a brain of your own. Make your own decisions. Like Alex and I said many times, do things for you. Don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks. If you don't like someone and you want to cancel them, that doesn't mean go and troll their Instagram and tell them that you wish they were dead. It means do not support, unfollow, and make an interchange.
Yep. Agreed. Hold everyone to a fucking high standard. People can and should do better, so hold them.
Do better.
To hold people to higher standards.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. And I hate, one more last note that I forgot to say earlier, is I hate that people make cancel culture sound negative. I think it's a positive. We should be canceling out hate. It's not okay. It's like what we said in the last episode about racism. It's not okay.
You know who makes cancel culture sound negative? Influencers. Because they get to turn the narrative and make themselves the victim, which is what they always want to do. They get to be victimized by the vigilantes or the mob or whatever, when in reality, the people who have had to deal with their fucked up shit are the victim, and they're the perpetrator of using, like, a slur or saying something fucked up. Like,
totally.
You're not the victim. You're being held accountable for doing something wrong.
For doing something fucked up. So yeah, I think that was a great discussion. I hope you all gained something from it. I know it probably seemed random and not Euphoria related, but we're in kind of a weird limbo. But that being said, next week's episode, next Tuesday, we will be jumping back to an episode that we were supposed to do before shit hit the fan, which was about Alex and I's experience in high school.
Heyo.
We want to definitely relate a lot of the themes to Euphoria because we definitely want to bounce back on more euphoric content. So I'm going to post stories on our Instagram and ask questions. Anything you want to know about Alex and I's high school experience, we're here to tell the tale. And also, you know, I don't know, it would be more fun if they were related to Euphoria. So the last time we asked questions, a lot of them were related to drugs, alcohol, sex. So Alex and I are open books, so lay it out. Ask us the tough questions. We're here to like answer and have a good time, get drunk, and talk about our dumb high school experiences.
Yep, totally.
So, on that note, do you have any other ending notes, Alex?
I don't.
So I think we're just gonna do a quick cheers, and we'll see you Euphorians next week, and we'll talk about high school and how fucked up it is. I don't
know. Yep. See you next Tuesday.
Cheers. You can't even hear it.
Cheers.